don't know why I don't have one. Okay. Do you have one? I don't think I do. Okay. Interesting. Sorry.
Grab you one? Yeah, that'd be awesome. I was talking to Mike about it yesterday, and he might have like put my side or something. Okay, because I finished one grab it yesterday, and for sure from tomorrow. I'm gonna nominate myself. No, that's not good. Yeah, I haven't raised it either.
My mom makes it. Yeah, I stole that. Yeah. Butter and brown sugar and milk. Okay. What are you grabbing? I know. I was here last council meeting. I bought it up.
Yeah,
Steve bought it.
What? Like, what was it? It's a really good idea. I know this guy. You ran for,
Is that like a round fest?
No, actually, I don't know.
Just sell it hard.
it's like all the cool places that are accessible by
No,
Everything that we thought we were presenting is like evidence based. So what do you do? I don't know. We just had a
Thanks, Eva. Did you get the iPhone back? Oh, okay.
They were like, well, let me get him ready.
So I have to call them?
I don't know. Just now fell apart. It was
What do you got for
Allie, thank you. So, tell us kind of is there anything I can help you with now?
We talked about how we go like what happened. And then they can give you the right that's all I heard. Like, well, then just like, so he was like, oh, sweet. Oh,
Oh, yeah, I prepared agendas.
awesome. I don't.
Do you also have them on?
I forgot the first time I did it.
Oh man, I was all like, we used enough agendas and you didn't say anything. So I was
Reported,
doing
oh,
it.
sorry, in a tough spot every year, and I should ask him about it.
I was come straight from work, so.
Is Jessica here?
Sorry, I couldn't email you back, like I couldn't email you.
I am so
Is Parchment here?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I read both, which is why some of the edits that I made were usually yeah.
I have everything. Good to go.
I've got it. You sent it to me.
Okay guys, let's call this meeting to order. We're a little bit late.
you probably didn't unmute.
Someone said, okay.
There's still a couple
Who has not gotten
Unmute the microphone.
Unmute the microphone. Press the mute button. It'll go green.
I've unmuted the microphone. Who hasn't had their picture taken yet? Can you just like do this? If you have not? Okay, that has to happen. So maybe just walk out there now, get your picture taken. Okay. Perfect. So we'll just wait a couple minutes because I know there's some discussion on there. We're missing one of our executives, so that's cool. We're missing some exec. Where's Danny? No, they don't have to get their pictures taken.
What did he say?
Sorry? Yes.
Yeah. Didn't think it was that.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll just let that keep happening.
Really? Really? Really?
Thanks, you're a goddess.
So like one of them.
Actually, did you know that they didn't play more than It's true. Get it. No, get it.
I would agree with that.
No, but you want to know why? No.
Okay, guys, so I'm actually going to call the meeting to order now, and we'll just get the roll call started, and then the people who are out getting their pictures taken, I'll just add them on afterwards. So same deal as normal. If we could go around and just say your name, your position, because I feel like there's definitely someone in the room who doesn't know everyone's name yet. Probably. Maybe not. That would be cool. And then also if you could just give us like an update about what's been going on with your, you know, I always want to use the word jurisdiction. It's not jurisdiction. It's constituency. Perfect. All right.
All right, I'm Matt. I'm first year rep, and I'm also part of the O'Brien Res Council. And we haven't been doing much, but this week we're having our Battle of the Sextons, which is like a sports tournament between Gerard and O'Brien. So that's going to be fun.
Thanks, I'm Anthony. I'm the law rep. So jurisdiction is actually a proper use of word. If you're talking about like the authority we have over our constituents would be our jurisdiction. So it's actually an appropriate use of language. So what have we been up to lately? Right now we have the Feed Nova Scotia food drive we're working on in the law library. If any of you come to the law library for whatever reason, hopefully not to eat Doritos and listen to music and make us really upset. But if you come to the law library, please bring a food donation. It would be awesome. We just had a huge curriculum review that was very painful because none of the faculty at the law school wanted to change anything. So we're going back to the drawing board on that. And that's what's going on at the law school. Thanks.
I'm James Lively. I'm one of the health professions representative. Our SAPR just had our SAPR ball, but aside from that, our constituents have been remaining pretty quiet.
I'm Allison Peche. I'm the representative from the Studley Campus Engineering Society. Right now we're just going under our accreditation process. We always have to get reaccredited every 6 years as an engineering program. So we're kind of just getting everything ripped to shreds at the moment, but it's just finishing up and I think we passed. So it was kind of stressful, but it's done now, so it's good.
Hi, I'm Ishika Sharma, the International Student Representative. The updates I have for now are, first of all, we just did our Chinese themed party at the grad house almost a week back, and it was pretty good. People from different cultures came in to meet other Chinese students and talk to them about what their cultural meals are, and mostly their festivities. And we are hosting a winter clothing giveaway soon on November 27th with the Intercessory Prayer Ministries. And we would be holding a Brazilian-themed party now this Saturday at the grad house, starting 7 p.m. So everyone's welcome to that.
Hey, I'm Ainsley Francis, the Black Student Rep. Update for you guys that I found a few members to form our Black Student Association. So hopefully in a couple of months you can see us floating around.
Hey guys, I'm Pat from DAGS. I love having Ishika here because she always mentions the announcements that I remember after council meeting is over that I should have brought up, so I don't need to mention the Brazilian theme party. To all my Mo bros in the room, congratulations, stay strong. I think that's it.
I also like having Ashika here because I used to rely on Pat to save my ass, and now Pat doesn't even have to do anything, so this is awesome. No real updates.
What's your name and position?
Oh, I'm Brett, and I'm the graduate student senator.
Hi, Brett.
That's it.
I'm Kat. I'm the member at large. So I actually just got back from visiting my grandma for 2 weeks, so my update would have nothing to do with this. Yeah, she's great. Yeah. She just turned 90, so she's like old, but really great. Yeah.
My name is Alex. I'm one of the Senate reps. On SLTC, we're having some really great discussions around international student academic success. We'll be having a presentation from Ishika and possibly other members of DISA in a couple of weeks, which I'm really excited about. And SRI working group is still going strong.
Cool. I'm John. I sit on the Board of Governors as a student rep. It's been a pretty good 2 weeks since we last met. There's been meetings of the Budget Advisory Committee where we're changing the process around the Budget Advisory. It's been for the last decade or so. We're actually doing consultations before the budget's been written. So we had a meeting on Tuesday with 4 different deans who had 4 completely contradictory statement of what they need. So it's going to be a really interesting process meeting with all the other deans throughout the year. Also met with the Management Society, which was really interesting to hear what they had to say. And I'd like to meet with any other societies if they just want to tell me what they think I should be saying at the board level. And there's also a board meeting coming up on the 26th. If folks want to attend, we're open to the public. I'll be discussing some interesting things like a summer U-Pass we voted on, among other pretty interesting things. So that's on the 26th, 3 p.m. in the McDonald Building, if you want to join. Thanks.
I'm Laura. I'm the women's rep. And the South House is having a community consult on Tuesday, the 26th, that's coming up, in the McCain Building. I think it's at 6 p.m., and there will be free pizza, and we'll be talking about some of our policies and getting community feedback about things like our 3 to 5 year plan, staff contracts, and other interesting stuff with free pizza on Tuesday.
I'm Michelle. I'm the Aboriginal Students Rep, and lately we've been having Mi'kmaq language classes and Beaten classes. And I also have tickets for the Elsipogdog Benefit Concert. That's on November 30th. That's for sale upstairs at the South House if anybody's interested. They're $30.
Right, I'm Sam. I'm the VP of the Science Society. Our semester is really winding down, but we're getting ready for next term. We have a CPR course coming up and a couple other things Francis will mention. Right now, the executives are working on reviewing the tenure policy to see if we can get more student representation on that. We're not exactly sure where we're going to go with it yet, but that's one of our big things we're working on right now.
Hi, I'm Francis. I'm the DSS rep. To add to what Sam said, we're still looking for our environmental affairs representative, and we're going through executive review at the moment. The exec on DSS are going through interviews with the Executive Review Council, and we had council fill out a survey last meeting, and yeah, that's about it. Sort of still planning for symposium for next semester.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex. I'm the Commerce Rep. Our team is in full fundraising mode for Movember right now. Currently we're sitting at just over $20,000 for the month. We're hoping for about 25, maybe 30 if we can push it. We're hosting a formal gala at the end of the month. If anybody's interested, you can come see me for tickets.
And you're the number 1 team in Canada.
Oh yeah, number 1 team, undergraduate team in Canada right now.
I'm Tara, and I'm the medical school rep. And right now we're getting ready for the health of it, which is a skit competition between the different health profession schools. So us and schools like dentistry and pharmacy, stuff like that. And so that's on November 30th, and it's a charity contest. Tickets are $20 if anyone's interested in coming. And also, I guess on the negative side, we're dealing with like a confidentiality breach thing sort of in our school. So the names of some anonymous feedbacks were given to evaluators. Like, so students' feedbacks names were released. So we're dealing with that and going through a process of evaluating how our undergraduate medicine administratives deal with that kind of confidential information. So that's all our update.
Hi, everybody. My name's Taylor. I'm the president of DAS, the Arts and Social Sciences Society. DAS has been active on a couple different fronts as of late, which Caitlin will talk about in a sec. But if you are interested in diversifying your degree here at Dalhousie, FAS has a new minor in medieval studies. So there's nothing like applying to that business or science-related job with a new minor in medieval studies to boost your resume. But anyways, on an also kind of sadder note, at our faculty meeting this week, which we had tons of students out to, which was cool, Italian was officially, there's a motion passed that Italian majors are officially no longer offered at Dalhousie. Not necessarily in the super long term, but yeah, so essentially there's still a minor in Italian, but Italian majors have been cut due to finance problems and such. So yeah, that's kind of shitty, but was a long time coming. And also just one of our department societies, Ideas, runs a really successful social enterprise where they have sold for years samosas in the LSC every Wednesday and sell out 200 samosas in about an hour to an hour and a half every Wednesday. They recently had, last week, a health inspector who didn't reveal her identity as a health inspector until the end of their conversation come up to them and tell them that they couldn't operate without a food permit to sell food in the LSC. So we're trying to help them out with that. And if anyone knows, especially around like bake sales and what's okay, apparently their issue is because they sell cooked vegetables. And apparently cooked vegetables go against the province health act or whatever it may be, according to the health inspector. So I'd be curious if anyone has thoughts on that to come talk to me after.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin, and I'm the Vice President Internal of the Arts and Social Sciences Society. DAS has been really busy with our petitions and individual letters for restoring funding to the student academic experience. Last week I passed around a petition, but if any counselors were not here and would like to sign it, I can send it around again. We have DAS Donuts tomorrow in the McCain from 11:30 to 1, where we will be having out the petition. Come, get some free food, chat to us. And this is a great reason, because Italian was just cut due to finances, that this is a major problem.
Hi everyone, I'm Hema. I'm the other Board of Governors rep, and I feel that JD was very sufficient with everything he said, so there's nothing really to add to that. So thank God I was after him. And
Hi everyone, I'm Alexa. I'm your outgoing secretary. This will be my last meeting. However, positive note, I'm also the president of the Dalhousie Management Society, so you may still see me around in that capacity. Can I? Okay. Well, since the management rep isn't here, we've been having some cool events going on. We give out a lot of free food in the row, so if you're around at any point, we usually give out pie, pizza, whatever, as long as you come talk to us about things. And in the next week, we're going to be having an academic review session. This is where we anonymously interview students on their perceptions of the program, their likes, dislikes, profs that are great, aren't, and this is how we can give feedback on the sessional professors, because some students don't feel comfortable going through the traditional channels. And this way, they report to the executives of the society, and then we report it directly to the faculty, who are very open to hearing what we have to say and take that forward to changing our program.
I'm Josh, the VPFO. It's been the budget, audits, and renovations are really just the three things that are taking up literally all of my time.
I'm Aaron, VP Academic and External. As students get more and more busy, I get less busy with like outreach and campaigning work. So I've been doing more back-end stuff, the boring stuff, to be honest. I won't really tell you much more about it.
I'm Allie. I'm the DSU Council Chair. Just sorry that I couldn't be here last week. I was in Toronto visiting my parents because I won't get to see them at Christmas. But I hope you guys had an awesome meeting anyways. That was it. I get to see my mom. I don't get to see my dad and my stepmom. That's okay. I know you all cared.
Please tell us more.
No.
I'm Danny. I'm the Vice President Student Life. I'm excited to get this meeting started. Let's get it started.
Also, I think a couple people just walked in, like because you were out getting pictures. I'm thinking mainly Emma and Becca. Do you guys want to Okay. Oh, okay. Did anybody else walk in that I missed? Or who are you pointing at?
I'll say one more thing.
You're saying one more thing. No, you're not.
Wait, what do you have to say?
What? Okay.
There's no place on the agenda for this, and I should have just said this in my update. I'll hand around, this is a lobby doc and a little questionnaire that we will be eventually sending to the Liberal Party. It is confidential, so I'm going to be collecting these at the end. That's why I want to just hand them out. People can read it. Don't miss anything important. This is geared specifically for new Liberal MLAs and bureaucrats, so just keep that in mind when you're looking over. It's not for like decision or anything really. Just if you're curious how that stuff works, and if you have any feedback, you can let me know down the road. Confidential. Don't pass it on. Thanks.
Perfect. So we'll just get those passing around. Okay. Let's move on to the acceptance of the agenda. I'm sure there will be a couple amendments to it. So does anybody have a motion to amend the agenda? Josh.
If no one's opposed, I'd like to move the budget to the beginning, kind of get it out of the way if you guys are okay with that. I know it'll be a couple things as well.
Budget's not on this agenda. That's the wrong one.
It's 5D.
What? 5D. This is the wrong agenda.
Oh, here.
Well,
I was handing over new agenda.
You pass this around. This isn't the agenda.
I'm sorry, guys. We have quite a few.
It's also up on the screen. If you look to the screen, you'll see the red agenda.
I'm really sorry about that, guys. I was using Danny's computer. Really confusing. Was Danny's fault?
Yeah, Danny, can you zoom in a little bit on it? That'd be awesome.
Man, are your agendas gonna
Wrong way, Danny.
longer?
Too close, Danny. Danny, there's a plus and minus that will make your life a lot easier on that thing. I thought you meant me for a second. I was like, what anonymous feedback.
We can all really critique the budget.
Oh, shit. In a safe environment where I'm not here. All right, so now that everyone has their agenda, I want to move the budget to the beginning, if that's okay. I just have a little presentation, then time for questions really quick. Everyone okay? I guess.
Aaron, do you have some amendments?
And I'd like to move advocacy review report, which is 5B, to 4B.
Is it old business?
I'm hoping we can consider it as old business since there was a report last week too. This is going to be a continuous thing.
Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Yeah.
I would like to add appointments. We need 2 counselors for the Impact Awards Selection Committee, and I'll speak to the Impact Awards at the time. So if I could get Impact Awards on there, that'd be awesome.
And it's 2 counselors?
2 counselors.
Other amendments?
Just a point of information, is anyone on the exec currently able to speak on behalf of the Elections Committee?
Did you want to have a conversation about the election?
Only if it's worthwhile. Like, I know that Rams had tabled that discussion we had previously to the Elections Committee. I just wanted to get a recap or an update. But if no one here has any information on that, then there's not really worth having a conversation on it.
You can add it as a discussion item at the end, and then depending, start a conversation, and if we can answer your questions, we will. If not,
Okay. Not, yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Okay, so what I have down here is we will be moving item 5D, the budget approval, up to before old business. We will have, we will add appointments of an Impact Award Committee, and we will move 5B to be item 4D. So can we have a motion to accept the agenda? Oh, perfect. Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Are there any objections or any abstentions? All right. Agenda passes unanimously. Perfect. I did not get the meeting minutes out to you guys. Just me sort of forgetting, wasn't here for the last meeting, so I didn't get the minutes right away. So I will have this meeting's minutes and last meeting's minutes sent out to you to have approved 2 weeks from now. If anybody has a problem with that, let me know right now. Okay, perfect. So that brings us on to appointments of the Impact Award Committee. I will let Sir Daniel Shanahan speak to that a little bit.
Sir Daniel Shanahan. What's the mustache? I guess so, yeah. Okay, so the Impact Awards. In the policy, on committee policy, it's referred to as the Honor Awards, and that's what it was formerly referred to as a few years ago, but it's been since referred to as the Impact Awards. There's a few folks that were there last year. Happens around March. Basically what happens is we open up for nominations for a number of awards. There's things like the Gold D, there's things like Malcolm Honor, Lily Chan, is that one of them? Am I right? There's a bunch of different awards. ROMS cleaned up last year. It was crazy. And then we have a selection committee that consists of myself as chair, 2 members of university faculty, and then 2 union members. ROMS and I have been amending this policy, but it hasn't been officially amended yet, so we have to stick with what was originally in there for the Honor Awards. So I just would like to open the floor for nominations for members to be on the selection committee. So basically what you'll do is we sit down in a room for a long time, we eat pizza, and we look at all the nominations for all these different awards, and we select who we want to be the winners of the awards. It's a really cool process, really cool to be a part of, and you get to learn a lot about so many different people from all over the campus and all the great stuff that folks are doing. So really cool to be a part of. I was on it last year as programming commissioner, and I'd do it again. Hema was also on it as well. Hema, do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I guess. You don't have to if you don't want to. Well, it was fun because like you get to I got to know how and what places they got to pick for the students. So in case I plan to apply for anyone at any point of my student career, and I know how to pick them. But
so it's a rigged system.
It is, but no, it's really cool because there's a lot of students that were doing a lot of great stuff that I've never would have never heard about, have never seen, and a lot of students I was impressed by what the amount of stuff they had on their application, what they've done on campus, and what they've done in the community or abroad or internationally. So there's a lot of really amazing people at Dow, and you wouldn't get a chance to know their accomplishments unless you were on this and read their application. So it's really cool.
Sorry about that, guys. So perfect. Do we have any nominations? And just a reminder that you can nominate yourself as a counselor. So do we have any nominations for either of the 2 positions on this one? Yeah.
I'll nominate myself.
Okay.
I was going to nominate you.
Okay. Absolutely. That was Matt. Perfect. Do we have any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Nominate Laura.
Do you accept this nomination?
Sure.
Okay. Any other nominations? Would you like to have stand-ins?
I don't know. Yeah, I think we should because it's a process that you might not be able to make every meeting. So I think it would be.
Can we just do that? I don't know if we can just make that decision. Sorry.
Yeah, unofficial.
Okay, let's have unofficial alternatives. So, is Laura nominated for an alternative position or a actual position?
I'm gonna let Laura decide that one.
I can have a real.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we need 2 people to be in the actual position and 2 people to be alternatives. So we now need at least 2 people nominated to be alternatives, or unless someone wants to be an alternative of the 3 people who we have up already. Yep. Awesome. Oh, this is so ridiculous. I don't know your name yet. Awesome. Thanks.
I thought you were going to say
Okay. Do we have a second nomination for one of the alternate positions?
Can we do the election for the positions?
Yeah, we can do that.
We have 3 for the real one.
Yeah.
Can I put myself as an alternative?
If you would like to. Yeah, totally. Okay, perfect. Do we have any other nominations for any of the positions? Any other nominations?
I have a nomination.
Okay.
Can I nominate Kat Stein?
Absolutely. Do you accept this nomination?
Yeah.
Is that for an alternate position or a other position?
What is it, Alex?
Like a main position? There's not actually a big. It's nice to do them all at the same time because stuff like this happens. See, he's now in like an alt position, which is nice. But we're gonna do the election separately.
I'm unclear what's already, sorry.
Okay, currently we have 2 people nominated to be the full-time and 2 people to be the alternates. But how this has worked in the past with other committees is just who can attend the meeting to make sure that they have enough people at the meetings every time. So there's not a huge difference as far as I know.
Nominated for a real full-time member.
Okay.
They're all real.
Perfect. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? And finally, are there any other nominations? Okay. There are not. You can't nominate people anymore. All right. So we don't have any ballots.
I don't know.
He
We
just-
want to do it.
just walked out.
It's up to us if we want to do it like silent ballot or what. Do you have
Motion to have a hand vote if everyone's okay with that. Maybe we could all close our motion to have a hand vote with all of our eyes closed and Alex on.
Do we have a seconder? And can we have a temperature? Like, is anybody opposed to that?
Doing a hand vote?
This is actually a thing.
Yeah.
You can't actually do that. There is a constitution about being
Point of
employed.
order, it's on camera.
No, we're gonna go off camera for that because when you vote, it's an in camera thing when you vote. So it's in camera, which means we turn the camera off. It's in camera, I think. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go into voting for the for the real positions. So that would be Kat, Alex, and Laura are the 3 candidates for those positions. So what's going to happen, we're just going to ask all you guys to leave the room, come in, and give maybe
30 seconds.
I'm going to say a 1-minute pitch with a 30-second question period. No? More than that? Because that's only like 1 question. You ready?
30 seconds.
Is 30-second pitch okay? Okay. 30-second pitch with a 60-second question period that I might let go a little bit longer. And then everyone's going to leave the room. We're going to do a vote, and then we're going to see who wins the positions. So
What do we have to talk about? Just why we want the position?
why you think that you would be good at the position, stuff like that. Yeah.
Just one?
So if
Because of this?
if
So you're saying?
Alex, Kat, and Laura, you guys could just leave the room for a little bit. But like we have to go by alphabetical order of last name, I believe. About what order we go in?
An L. So it's Alex first.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to leave the room first?
Yeah.
Non-counselors have to leave the room, and camera has to be off.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Okay.
You can't. No, I don't think it's in camera for the. No, it's just for the voting.
Oh.
It's not for the actual pitches.
That's true.
Okay, so can someone get Alex to come in and give us a little pitch?
Alex, come on in.
Hey. Hey. All right, do you want this mic?
I guess. Please do.
Some folks at home.
How many people got watching?
4.
How many of those people
There
are
will
in
be
this room?
several hundred at some point.
Alex, the lever is up.
Okay, guys. For those of you that don't know me, I am Alex. I'm a commerce rep. My major in school right now is actually managing people in organizations. So essentially, the technical name for that, or the non-technical name is HR. I am a people person. I like to pick people. I've done a couple of interviews and such. I'm on the ERC, where that's all we do is we go through interviews and such like that. I enjoy this kind of stuff that I enjoy doing, working with people, picking people out, finding their qualities. And I know that Danny's worked really hard with the Impact Awards in the past. I think you emceed it last year, did you not? I know it's a really great event. I love working with Danny. I know he's a great guy. I know he's going to put his heart and effort into it. And that's really why I wanted to be on the Impact Awards committee, because I want to work with Danny.
He wins.
Do we have any questions? Do you have any questions for Alex? Any questions? Peace. No time. Any questions? All right.
Can you ask Laura to come in, please? Who? Laura.
Look at this. We're doing a real election. It's never happened. No people are just like, oh no, wait, oh god, no, I won't.
Okay, Laura, you've got 30 seconds to do a pitch.
Do I use the mic?
Minute of questions. Yeah, and you gotta stand right here so the camera can see you. That's okay.
I don't have any much to say because Danny surprised me by nominating me. But I would love to be on the committee and love to find out about all the good stuff that's going on campus and have a chance to give recognition to the people who are doing those good things. So thank you for nominating me. And I'm excited to learn more and do work on this committee.
Do you have any questions for Laura? Any questions? All right. Oh, question.
What
Perfect.
distinguishes you from the other candidates?
I don't know the other candidates that well. So I'm not too sure, but I know that I would be enthusiastic. And with my background in the South House, I would probably look for the kind of work that we value that's being done on campus around gender issues or social justice issues. So that's a thing about me.
Awesome.
Okay.
Matt's drinking Diet Pepsi out of a 2-liter bottle in the back of the room right now.
It's on sale.
Kat, you got 30 seconds with a minute of question period at the end. No, not starting now. Oh yeah, 15 seconds are up. Go.
No, just talk about like why you would be. Yeah, what am I saying?
Just why?
Why would
think
you
you're
vote
great
for
for the
you?
position and why you want the opportunity.
I think I'm engaged with a bunch of different stuff on campus, everything from I've been involved with O Week, I'm a part of PERG, I've been involved with Ladle, other exciting things, and I think as like a member at large, it's like a really all-encompassing position, and I think doing this would actually bring me to know and understand a lot of different students and a lot of things they've done on campus and be able to actually do my position better. And yeah, I would just love to be able to get engaged with students in this way and learn about them and what they're doing, and then be able to take that and actually help create a space where that's even more possible on campus. Yes.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions for Katarina Stein? Any questions? No? Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again. All right. Oh, thank you. So we're going to go in camera now. And what that means is that people who are not on council must leave, except for me. I'm not on council, really, but I don't have to leave. And we're not going to take minutes. Do you guys know if Alexa's allowed to stay? She is? Okay. Right, okay, cool. And we're going to get that camera shut off. Awesome, are we good?
Sure, give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I can leave it open. Move out of camera.
Second.
All in favor?
I don't think we even need to do that. I think you just need a second.
We do.
What? Okay. All in favor of going back on camera? Any abstentions or objections? Okay, we're back on camera. Where's that microphone? What, is it working now? Are we good?
Well, I put it on before you voted. I didn't know you were voting.
What?
Well, we let you in before we voted.
Yeah,
for you,
yeah,
so-
yeah. No,
That's
yes,
reasonable.
yes, it's all good.
Okay, perfect. So the people in the positions of the, oh my God, what is this? Impact Award Committee are Alex and Laura. Congratulations, guys. Perfect. I'm just gonna make sure we have the right people nominated and also do another call for nominations now for the alternative positions. So we have Matt and James as our current nominees. Do we have any other nominees for the alternative positions? Any other nominations? And a third, yep.
I'll nominate Kat.
I'm sorry, do you want me to call you Katerina? Is that better? Is that more official?
You don't have to accept the nomination.
Do you accept the nomination?
I will. Like, I want to do it.
Okay, awesome.
Back out of the nomination.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you.
I'll nominate Kat if she wants.
Well, he's already nominated. He was a nominee and he denominated himself after nominating Kat. So our current nominees are Katerina Stein and Laura Ovens. Is that your last name? Ovens? Yes. No, you're not. Just kidding. And Matt. I don't know Matt's last name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being really unprofessional today. I'm back being professional. Okay. Our current nominees are Katerina Stein and Matt. Do we have any other nominations? Any other nominations? And the third time, do we have any other nominations? All right. These two win the positions by acclamation. Perfect. We will now move on to budget approval. And I will hand this microphone over to our VPFO.
Yeah, no, I need to plug my computer in. I don't know why I was talking to the microphone for that. You guys unplug the computer for me or anything? Stand. What?
Can we just get maybe like a temperature check, how everyone's feeling so far in this meeting? Is this kind of emotion, this kind of emotion, not gonna put my thumb up kind of emotion? Okay.
I'm doing great.
Good. Cool.
It's like plug
Troubleshoot.
Unplug and plug it back in again. I recommend unplugging and plugging it back in again.
Gotcha. Next time, turn it on, turn it back on again?
More or less, yeah.
And then you hit it.
Unplugging and plugging it back in.
Sit back,
Yeah.
actually.
What?
And do that. That one. And zoomed in.
Yeah, your resolution's just really low.
Don't really know what that means, but thank you.
Yeah, but if you just play the slideshow.
There we go. Okay. So, I've been working kind of tirelessly on this over the past couple weeks. We went to the board last Wednesday. The budget was originally passed with one exception, that the investment information was recognized there might be a problem with it. I had a meeting with our investment manager, Nick Childs, who basically cleared up some confusion around it. So the numbers that are there are accurate and are representative of what will be happening this year. If anyone has any more questions about that, for anyone who has any financial knowledge, it might seem weird, feel free to ask me either now or later. All right, so agenda. First, I'm going to explain kind of what happened with student fees this year. I'll jump into some kind of major points that came out at the board meeting as well as when I was going over the budget, and then we can go into questions. All right, so if you guys are looking at the budget, which I hope you all have, summer fees don't actually reflect the fee increase, which is why they may have seemed lower, since the fee increase didn't come until September. Enrollment overall was up in full-time but down in part-time, so it was an overall decrease, but an overall increase in the fees we brought in. Summer students were higher than in budgeted, as well as distance students. So one area that might confuse some people around the advocacy funds, when we dropped to an associate member of CASA, the full amount was already budgeted for. So last year, a motion was passed that those funds still be used, however, towards advocacy. So a new line has been created in our governance and external lobbying section titled Advocacy Funds. And for the first half of the year, that spending was put under Aaron's campaign budget. So the numbers seem a bit wonky, that's why. Under marketing, you might see some weird stuff there as well. That's because one of our staff members, our graphic designer, is going to be moving to full-time rather than part-time. And finally, food services. Revenue has been higher than expected. However, there's been some kind of unforeseen expenses, and revenue is still not exactly where we're expecting it to be. So I'm going to be in pretty much ongoing talks with Chartwells around that. So yeah, that's the short little presentation around it. Any questions? Yeah.
Can we see a breakdown of the fees?
Yep, I do have that. If I can actually see this. Ah. All right. Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah.
Perfect. Any particular questions, or?
No, just as a point of reference. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know.
I see what you mean, yeah. So basically, like if you look, it won't really look like a noticeable change because the summer fees are totally different than the fall fees, but they wouldn't reflect, the summer fees next year will be higher given the fee increase that was passed at the referendum last year.
So that fee increase that was passed at the referendum last year, what was that for?
I don't know the exact referendum question, but it was to kind of make up for like a financial shortfall that was like projected, I believe, just because it hadn't been increased in a long time. And looking at the budget and how it's going to be looking in a few years, the past VPFO brought it forward.
So the total fees for a full-time student currently are $135.8.
Yep. Okay. Yep. 73 for part-time, and then for summer it's 66.15, but that will go up by. I'm sorry, I can't remember the amount off the top of my head, but it'll increase next year. Any other questions?
Yeah, it still says Women's Center. Could you change that to South House?
I can actually change that right now if you'd like.
That would be so great.
Perfect. I think what that might have been is just in our accounting. I think like in the books it might not have been changed yet. That's all.
Oh, you know what? I think that's actually true.
Yeah, so I might
maybe that's
actually just leave that for now if that's okay.
totally.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
But no, if you want to come down to our accounting department, I'm sure we can go through like the steps having that changed.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing tonight is we'd vote on basically to pass this as our budget for the rest of the year. So for anyone that might need some clarification around this, what happened is when the budget's brought forward in February, we approve that budget. Come Christmas, I revise the budget to kind of revise the numbers, put more accurate projections in with the budget to kind of give a better idea of what's going to happen for the rest of the year. So that's what this is. We're not approving a whole new budget by any stretch. Everything in here has essentially already been approved. There's just some small things. Where's the overall? As you can see, the overall standing for the budget. Yeah. So there's nothing really crazy. Yeah.
So what has changed since the budget was originally proposed?
Our revenues have been a bit smaller, but we brought in more student fees than was expected. So it increased our revenue further, and that's why we have the $2,000 surplus. Projected, obviously. It's not guaranteed. But the only other thing that's changed is DSU has moved to a society rather than a department, so they're not included in there anymore. But that is an overall net no change whatsoever. Other than that, there's nothing really detrimental. It's just small numbers changed in different departments. Yeah, any of the big stuff was just outlined in that presentation. Yeah. Yes?
Question, is there any like significant finance changes being that DSU's no longer office? And
No. That's all it was is the money came to us and it would have just stayed with us. The department would have gone to them. Now it's just it comes in and then leaves again.
Okay.
Yeah, no overall change. Perfect.
Perfect. Then do we have a motion to accept the budget as attorney? You know what? There's a motion on here.
Yeah, that's one of the changed. Yeah, sorry.
Did need to be changed?
Well, that's the motion from the Board of Operations. That's not the motion for council.
Oh.
That's the motion that came from the Board of Operations. That's the recommendation to council.
Very confusing,
Sorry.
sir.
I apologize.
Okay. Sorry, yes. So do we have a motion to accept this budget? Caitlin Lowe, do we have a seconder? Perfect.
Point of information.
Yep.
So are we accepting it, knowing that the investment information is looking incorrect and all that? Okay.
Can we just make them, like, I feel like since we approved the agenda already, we should make an amendment. All friendly.
Yeah, sorry guys, that was my mistake. When I amended the agenda, I had meant to amend also the board motion, that it was changed from taking out that investment part to just the board unanimously approves the budget. Is everyone kind of friendly with that motion being recognized as coming from the board? Does anyone want me to elaborate on that? I can if you want. I can keep it pretty straightforward. Danny? So essentially last year when we divided our investments between our health plan and general DSU investments, when we moved over the health plan section, all of our interest generating bonds and much of our cash flow went over to that side. So that's why there's no interest being shown. Capital gains and losses is also zero. That's because with the way our investments are set up now, they're set up for long-term growth. So what's happening is each time there's a capital gain or loss, or sorry, capital gain, there hasn't been any losses, it's reinvested into more investments within that portfolio. So you won't see any change in either one of those aspects.
What are we invested in?
I don't have a full breakdown off the top of my head, but I looked at it the other day and there was nothing sketchy. I can get you a full breakdown if you'd like. There are like investment parameters. We have a full like investment setup that's obviously things like no guns, no tobacco, things like that. I can get you a full breakdown if you'd like. I just don't have it off the top of my head, but if you want to send me an email, I can have that sent out to whoever wants it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect. So can we first just approve that amendment? So all in favor of that amendment, that it will now just be it resolved that the 2013-2014 budget be approved, will be the new motion. All in favor of approving that amendment? Any objections? Are there any abstentions? Okay, the amendment passes, and we will now vote on the motion. Be it resolved that the 2013-2014 budget be approved. All in favor, please raise your hand. Are there any objections? And any abstentions?
My email glitched and I didn't get it till now.
Would you like that noted in the minutes?
No.
Okay. Perfect. Then the motion passes. So we'll now move into our old business. Do we need to switch back to the computer and everything? Okay, I'm going to start talking about it then. I'm not going to wait. Perfect. Old business, item A, is about student assistance. It's a decision item, and the motion is be it resolved that the DSU endorse the principles, concerns, and recommendations from the Student Nova Scotia position paper on student assistance. Do we have someone who would like to speak to that? Or? Perfect.
I won't actually say anything about it because it was addressed last council meeting. People said they wanted time to just consult and think about it. If people have questions, we can address those now, discussion. Otherwise, that's pretty straightforward.
Does anybody have any questions or desire to discuss it further? Yeah, is it
just a statement about what was discussed earlier, friendly amendment to add at the end that whatever concerns the Dalhousie students. So maybe have it that be it resolved that the DSU endorse principles, concerns, and recommendations from the SNS position paper on student assistance conditional to what's applicable for DAL students or conditional to what's useful for DAL students.
I mean, I think what we're voting on right now is we're making the judgment that it is what is best for DAL students. We can come back to that at any point. I'm not opposed to it, I guess. It just seems a bit redundant in some ways, like given that we can come back at any point and change our stance.
Okay, we should really have the microphone when people are saying things.
Just a point of information. Could you just quickly, like Cole's notes summary this topic again, just so in case anyone does have a concern, they can sort of reflect on it?
The essence of the paper is to take, it's recommendations to the government that the government take the money that's currently going to the graduate retention rebate and put that towards upfront needs-based grants for all programs and for as many years as people study. Yeah, the graduate retention rebate, it has been criticized by many student unions, student associations for many years and across many provinces for being ineffective for a couple different reasons. Yeah, fair. Any questions about that, about the actual paper? Next up.
Can I get a temperature check on how people feel about making an amendment to the motion? Do people feel that that is something we should move into discussion about or not?
Okay, maybe
Or
I'll
is
just
that-
take it back.
I don't want to make it
If
feel
we
like
can-
we're getting you
if
not
we can
to.
come back to it and whatever is being endorsed is discussed at the council prior to being actually put to public notice, I don't know. Would that make sense?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
If you feel good about that, I don't want
No,
to.
I am. It's
I don't
just
wanna,
that, it's just that if we endorse something, it's better put to notification within the council first, and we see whether we're ready to endorse those points and then put it into public interest, instead of just going ahead with it. It's just like more methodology.
It's just for this one position paper from the Student Nova Scotia, right? Not everything Student Nova Scotia
Yes.
says.
Mhm.
Yeah, so.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any other questions about this motion then? Any other questions? All right, let's move into then. Motion to accept the motion. Be it resolved, the DSU endorse the principles, concerns, and recommendations from the Student Nova Scotia position paper on student assistance. All in favor, please raise your hand. I don't have an opinion. Are there any objections? And any abstentions? All right, then the motion passes unanimously. Hey, woo! Go motion. All right. Perfect. That brings us on to item 4B, which is old business discussion on executive reform.
That was changed.
What?
Oh.
We didn't do that. That didn't happen. Forgot. Is it important?
I did say that. Can I motion to move advocacy review report to 4B?
Yeah, we did do that, the 4D.
It's 4D is what you said.
It just makes sense, like thinking why it makes sense to do it first. So I'm gonna move that. People can. I think it takes unanimous.
Yeah. All right. All in favor of moving what is now 4D, the advocacy review report, to item 4B. All in favor? Any objections? Objections? Anyone? Objections? Any abstentions? All right.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Motion passes.
So where is it going?
We're just talking about now.
Perfect. So we're now going to talk about advocacy review report.
I'm also gonna motion to move in camera. Sorry to all of you.
Do we have a seconder? We have to do that, right? All in favor of going in camera? Any objections? Abstentions? Someone's going to change the camera, it's not gonna matter. Oh, yeah, Matt's not here.
Do you want to just turn it facing the wall? I'll just turn
Can
it.
he still hear us? Well, we can mute this. But I think that there's...
It's gotta be an easy way.
Yeah.
Alex is on.
Why don't, okay, everyone...
It's like put a blanket.
Just unplug it.
Sorry. So,
just throw that Diet Pepsi on it.
So thanks for
destroy the
Okay, so thanks for moving that up. It doesn't, not a big deal. It just makes sense, like, for the chronology of our discussion. Also, just the reason we're moving camera is because the Advocacy Review Committee felt that this report was not quite
When was that 2 years ago?
So how does it like? I know.
Sorry for like rushing.
I like know what you.
Let's hang out now.
Yeah.
Just let us know when we're back on technology.
You are back on technology and don't be broken.
Perfect.
If I think we should listen to them just because they came all the way here and then they go.
Alright, can we get everyone to sit back down? Or are some people getting water? I think some people are. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a pretty. I wasn't planning on having like a big break, but
I think we still have quite a bit of agenda.
we have quite a bit of agenda.
I'm excited for excellent. Actually.
I wonder if we're gonna have to extend to past 3 hours.
Finding information, has there been a
Long 3 hours?
line of information to use that
Yeah.
And it's what?
Like, there's certain things.
If we wanted to run past 3 hours, it has to be unanimous.
yeah, so it has to be voted on now.
We're not quite at 2. We're not quite at 2.
Oh my God, it's 8, not 9.
Yeah.
I yes can't agree.
Yeah.
No, can't.
Yeah, okay. What I want to do is like,
Hey guys, has anybody not gotten their photo taken yet?
Everybody's got their photo taken?
It's really important because everyone wants to go home, and he's still there apparently. So, has anybody not had their photo taken? Raise your hand if you've had your photo taken. Hey, you two right there, you guys aren't raising your hands. You're not leading the conversation. Have you had your photos taken?
I got mine taken.
Okay, perfect.
We should do a group photo. Is Brent still got the stuff set up?
Yeah.
He's been waiting.
Yeah. I thought we had everyone, and we did that on purpose. Okay.
no, he's been waiting. Like, Grace and tell me everything, but like,
Where are you going? Oh, no, back. Oh, no. I'm trying to, like, there's people who aren't in the room, so I can't start the meeting.
No, I thought it was like
it's like, what is
Yes. If everyone can just leave the room and then, like, run some errands and then come back and get the meeting going.
As long as there's food involved.
Like, all the food's closed now.
No,
Tim Hortons is open. That's not food. That's not food. Alright, so we kind of get everyone back in here. Can you guys try to like rally people back in, if that's possible?
I'm gonna email it to
Brent. Hey guys, is there anyone else out there from council?
One person getting a photo.
Okay. What? Who didn't have a photo taken?
something is so used to the culture, like the links.
You can in theory start and then people can have trick play.
Yeah.
I think people probably just want it.
Okay. Aaron's gone.
I guess.
No, we'll get back to it.
It's a short little, like, he can say
Okay guys, so let's get the meeting back in order here. Can we get back to it? Perfect. All right. So we will now be moving on to the executive reform discussion. Yeah. Perfect. All right.
All right, so is everybody back? I think we're missing a few folks, but we'll just get started anyway. So
Can you guys just wrap up your conversations so we can pay attention to the meeting? Sorry, I don't want to be rude and cut you off, but we're getting back in order.
don't want to be rude to cut you off, but but I'm going to do that. So last council meeting, I unfortunately wasn't here, but I heard there was a really awesome conversation around executive reform. I don't want to get into a huge discussion about it unless folks have some pressing thoughts, ideas, questions that they'd like to have addressed or to bring up again. If that is sort of like the general consensus with the group, we can do that. If folks still kind of want to look over the proposal that was submitted last couple weeks ago, they can do so. If they've had a chance to look it over and they have some questions, clarifying questions they'd like answered, we can do so, or we can just kind of open the floor to a further discussion. But we could table that for another time. I just kind of want to put that on people's plates and let's get a sense. Yes, sir.
When did the proposed changes be put to the vote?
Josh.
There's no firm timeline.
Yeah, there is no firm
It's still,
timeline.
like, everything we put out as far as that proposal is still very much up in the air. That's why we're just kind of keeping it as an ongoing discussion. Nothing's concrete, nothing's set in stone. I mean, for all we know, nothing could happen, something could happen, half of it could happen. There's no, like, we're voting by this date, we're doing this by this date.
So you're just still looking for feedback? Sorry to jump in.
Yeah, no, entirely.
Just feedback.
Entirely still for feedback. It's nothing set in stone at all.
I think ideally we'd like to have a more solid proposal submitted by the next meeting. I'd like to be challenged potentially on that by the other executives, but I feel personally that's the best way to go about it. That way, going into the holidays, folks have something to read and go over while they're sipping eggnog by the fireplace. Doesn't sound beautiful. And then we can hit it up in January and talk about executive reform. Taylor. So I'm just gonna put this into like maybe a 5-minute, if that's cool with folks, 30 seconds again, like we just did.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
Sorry, is that a you thing? Oh, is that a you thing? Okay, I'll allow you to do it. Sorry.
So we're gonna move into 5-minute moderated caucus with, I feel like, I'm leaning towards like 30 seconds speaking times.
Well said.
Okay, perfect. Go. Taylor, can I throw this at you?
Sure, yeah.
I was gonna pass it to you.
Thank you. Two quick things. Firstly, the point. Oh, you're speaking next. I don't want to steal your thunder. This is totally his thing. But I think it's really important that the execs or someone look at the history of the positions, and especially around the issue of why the academic and external position were merged together 8 years ago, because that really wasn't that long ago. So just we have more context and kind of the history of it. Second point, raising the point that Beth raised a while back now, but let's say you guys present a formal document at the meeting in December. Is this something that can actually get done by the election in whenever the election is in the winter? Like all the stuff that would have, like constitutional changes and all those things, can all that be hashed out by March, realistically?
So yes, just to echo what you just said, one of my biggest questions is the exec reform looks to split up the academic and external. We merged those two positions roughly about 10 years ago. I'm wondering, or I would like to know why we merged them. Obviously, there was a reason, and because we had a whole exec reform 10 years ago. Couple other things, like I don't think that our executive or the way we run the DSU has been doing a horrible job where we can't do it. I guess some sort of formal, why do we need this? What benefits are we going to achieve? What risks are there? Would be is what I'm looking for. Why do we need to hire this person versus not hiring this person? It just seems like here's what we want to do, and then that's it. Anybody else?
Those are really great points. I wonder if council would appreciate having, instead of like reports specifically from each of the execs, I'm not talking like massive reports, but like a report from me outlining the efficiencies that could improve in my position. So like last meeting you discussed the idea of hiring like an orientation week coordinator and how that would relieve the I don't want to say stress, but the duties of organizing orientation week throughout the summer and foregoing being able to plan so much more. And that, just for example, I mean, I'm sure Josh has a number of options himself, and Beal and everybody else as well. So I wonder if that's something folks would be kind of interested in. Obviously, we could combine it into one document to provide you folks for some winter reading. But is that something people would be interested in? I think that might be really valuable. Okay, it's in the minutes, so now it's got to happen.
Yeah, any other points?
Is there any other points? Oh, Matthew.
If somebody might.
Can someone?
I would love to offer you my
You've
speech.
already spoken. You can't donate them.
Oh, I can't.
You've
I'll
already
pass
used
it
yours
on.
up.
Okay, you got Josh's.
Yeah. As a student, it would be great to have somewhere going up, since it will have to be voted on in an AGM, so the student body will then have their input on it, to have somewhere posted what the current portfolios, like point by point. I'm pretty sure they exist somewhere, but have a point by point thing of what the current expectations are of the executive, so that we could kind of have a way of looking at, okay, so this is what their portfolio would look like currently. This is what, under the new changes, for example, your portfolio would be, say, taking out the programming portion of it. So it would be helpful to be able to look at what the portfolios would look like afterwards. And as far as I have ever been able to find, they're not posted online.
Point of information. Sorry, I think those are in the Constitution.
Not in the detail. That
not in the detail sense.
No, because what I more mean is what are the actual duties. For example, somebody has the duty of managing like Tiger books. So that is in somebody's portfolio as a thing that they are obligated to look after. Those are not things that would ever get changed in the Constitution, because it would be a ridiculous amount of constitutional changes to actually amend that. So having maybe, even if each of you could just personally describe in your reports like what your like 50 points that you do in a day are.
Thank you, Matt. Any other points?
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alex?
Someone on the speaker's list.
Sorry. Do you guys, like, I know this is all coming from you guys, do you guys have some sort of unbiased member talking or like consulting with you guys about this?
Unbiased, explain, like
Just somebody like not on executive essentially, or outside of the DSU, really outside of council perhaps.
no.
Okay.
How much is Craig involved in this? And if he isn't involved, should he be involved, or is he also biased?
Craig Craig is the general manager of the Dalhousie Student Union. A lot of institutional memory along these things. So for the question of why was the position of external and academic combined 8 years ago, excellent question for Craig. Potentially a question that Beal might know right now. Nope, doesn't.
Easy to go on.
So a question that we can bring to Craig right away and find out. As far as sort of like an external almost consultant on the matter.
What I was going for.
Yeah, we haven't. The idea has been discussed, and it's 30 seconds now. The idea has been discussed.
We're also actually 45 seconds over our
Motion to
speaking time. Go ahead. I would say that you're on the speakers list, and we will exhaust the speakers list now.
Okay.
People want to.
That's, like, again, when I say things, feel free to challenge them.
I just have to know really quick.
I can't make this decision by myself.
Motion
You
to
guys
extend by however long you need.
5 minutes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Really? Do you think you need 5 minutes?
Yeah, you go on.
No, I'm just asking, but then you guys agreed, so I knew there was one thing more. Shocked.
So I was just gonna say, I understand where you're coming from with like the unbiased thing, but at the same time, and I don't know a lot about it, so I don't know, but at the same time I feel like the most beneficial inputs of what could be better about each position would kind of be like best expressed by the people who are in those positions and like doing them, because they can kind of see themselves like what they think could be more. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe? Yeah. That's all. It was just a small.
That makes perfect sense.
I was just wondering how much consultation or research you guys have done about other student unions, not necessarily Nova Scotia, but across Canada, and how they operate and what's in their portfolios. And also, I am really curious about the timeline, because if this is something we want to implement for upcoming elections, not only do we have to get information out there for students to vote at an AGM, but we also have to get information out there for students that might want to run for these portfolios, so they kind of have to know what's going to be available. So the faster that we sort of decide when we want to implement these changes, the far better.
Exactly 30 seconds. Well done. Sorry, that was parent next.
Just to address two of those questions. Or no, yeah, so Becca, I think like you're right in some sense, but then obviously you do need to seek other opinions. Most of the information we've gotten about other schools has come from just us being at other schools, conferences and whatnot. But our researcher is looking into other schools right now, especially if there's been ever like a survey of all the schools and what kind of data that's come up with. In terms of timeline, I'm really curious for your folks' thoughts.
I'm just gonna throw out there that like timeline has been a discussion. Like it's something that is kind of something of contention like among the exec as well. It's something that like I do beg to differ on. I don't think it needs to happen this year. I think it, and not to like I know you mentioned earlier like we like not mandating things for the next year, but we can mandate that things do have to occur next year. And I like where this is going. I do like the discussions it's bringing up, and I'd love to see this continue. But I do think we should definitely take our due diligence and take a good amount of time to make sure this is entirely done right.
Oh, no, you go ahead, yeah.
Just for my opinion, for timeline, I definitely think that having this implemented for not this upcoming election, but next academic year's election would definitely be better because we already had enough issues last year with elections just by merely combining the faculty society elections with the DSU elections. There was already enough confusion with that. Try adding a whole bunch of new positions in this year. It's just going to be a big mess. And I really think that this is something very important, especially with the state of what our university is in right now and all these decisions about external advocacy.
Oh, yeah. I'll go last, actually. I'm just going to make a point at the end, so if anybody else would like to speak to anything. Go.
From what I've read about the reform, I think that I'm pretty much in support of everything that it's proposing. And I guess I don't think it'll be a mess, but it will be a challenge, and it'll be a challenge this year or next year or the year after. Like whenever we do a reform, like it's going to be a challenge, and I'm not sure that putting it off would make a difference in this case. And I guess like just to put it out there, it's also an option to not do the entire reform, right? It's also an option for us to say this makes sense for this year, everything else is a little too much. Like that could be a discussion we could have also.
Was there anybody else who wanted to speak?
Run, Danny, run.
1 minute left. 2 speakers. Who's it going to be?
Just to kind of elaborate on my point, I do agree that an exec reform is necessary in the future. I think that before we see any kind of exec reform, one point that I wanted to make is that we should have a plan for what we as council, what we as students see for the union in 10 to 20 years' time. I think right now we're kind of the tail leading the dog, or tail wagging the dog, to use a really lame expression, but we kind of need a vision to build that reform around before we build the reform and try and make a vision out of that.
And Danny wants to take a...
Sure. Aaron, did you have a question? Okay. This has been awesome for us and myself. I was not unable to make the last meeting, but I really, really appreciate having this discussion for the last 10 minutes. This has been really helpful for us as executives. I think a timeline is super, super important, and I think we're going to be working as hard as we can to hopefully have one for either as rough as it might be for the next meeting, but we need something to really discuss and sink our teeth into. So thank you very much, folks. Oh, we're 3 seconds over. Perfect.
And 71 milliseconds.
And 71 milliseconds.
Perfect. So that moves us on to our item 4C, discussion about sub-renovations. Do you want to talk to that as well?
Sure.
Perfect.
Okay, so again, similar to the last point that we discussed, we don't have to go into this a great deal, but I do want to kind of touch on what we've been doing the last couple weeks. So myself and Sauger and Beal as well, and all of us have been working at meeting with a lot of the levied societies. So we met with folks from the Gazette, we met with folks from DAS, we met with folks from the DSS and PERG, and we're going to continue to meet with other folks from Dallout, South House, CKDU,
and pretty well anybody that does want to meet with us. And then eventually we will have a combined levied society meeting of all levied societies. So that includes faculty level societies as well that aren't maybe in this building but still would like to weigh in on this discussion. Those meetings have been very, very fantastic for us to gain a lot of insight into what folks' specific needs are. It's a really good chance to gain the insight and provide the feedback as opposed to in the public consultations where it's a little bit a lot less personal. So it's been a lot better for us. So we really appreciate the folks that have made the time to meet with us for those. If there are folks that are interested in potentially setting up a one-on-one meeting with any of the executives, I'd be willing to do that for sure. So you can bring that back to your societies or your individual, whatever you'd like, and I'd be more than willing to set those up. If folks do want to open up a discussion around this, we can go into a 5-minute moderated caucus and 30-second speaker time if people are interested in that. If not, we can move on. Aaron, did you have a comment? Okay. No. You look like you wanted to speak.
I'd be curious for people's, if they had any thoughts, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that people wanted to talk about it.
I don't know.
Really excited.
Yeah.
Can we have a temperature check?
Can't even
Like, who's
contain
talking about it,
the talk.
who would be fun talking about it but isn't into it, and who isn't? Okay. Well, that's.
So we're going to go into a 5-minute moderated caucus. Everybody really wants to talk about it.
Okay, perfect. So I would suggest if anybody kind of like after the meeting is like, oh man, I did want to talk about that, but like all these people did thumbs down, talk to Danny afterwards or send him an email or anything like that. It seems to me like conversation's really open on this issue. Am I?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm more than happy to meet with anybody about it. I've actually really enjoyed the one-on-one meetings. It's been a great opportunity to get to know folks and society specifically and what they're up to and what their needs are as a society to function in this building and in this on this campus and university. So, if not just for myself, please give me a call.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So at the end of this meeting, we'll be noticing a motion that will come forward in 2 weeks where people will actually be voting on this. We'll talk about that motion at the end, but just to say that this is a decision item on the next agenda. There'll be like we can make small changes afterwards, but just do what you can to figure out your stance on it.
It's a random motion,
yeah.
I can share some more.
Well, we'll talk about it when we have the notice of motion. We have
Oh, sorry.
a couple more agenda items to get through. Yeah.
I just highlighted.
Yeah. Perfect. So we will move into our new business now. Wow. So item 5A is the divestment motion. Is something happening?
Oh, wow, what timing?
Okay, perfect. I'm guessing that I should hand this over to you then.
Hand it over to them.
Hand it over to, hey guys, welcome. So we're just getting to our item about divestment motion right now. And is there someone who would like to speak to it, or are you guys doing a present? I don't know what's happening. I know nothing about what's happening. Is someone presenting it?
Speaking for a quick 5.
That would be perfect. Okay.
You do have an
Here you go. Can you have like a welcome? Like. You guys want us to find you some like chairs? We normally have them.
I think we're cool.
Okay. You can all come sit in like the middle. There's like a little bit square here. Whatever you want. Or up front. Alright guys, can we get order in the council chamber? Not in 303. Order in room 303. That was good. Thanks.
Hey, so again, thank you all for all your time. I know these meetings are extremely long, so every moment that we take of yours, we're so grateful for. Is this mic working?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My name. Okay. Yeah, my name is Stephen. This is
Emma. Hi.
We greatly are
Divest Dalhousie. We're part of the Halifax Environmental Justice Collective, quite a mouthful, but the campaign that we're working on is to divest Dalhousie's endowment fund from the fossil fuel industry. That endowment fund is a $411+ million pool of money that the university itself uses to invest in a number of investment classes, asset classes, and industries for the returns. Included in that group of industries is the fossil fuel industry. That's in particular what we're going after. There is no ethical investment policy for the institution itself right now. So what we're invested in is anything that's legal under Canadian law, which certainly includes the fossil fuel industry, armament, tobacco, etc. But again, the focus of ours is the fossil fuel industry. The way in which we're focusing on the fossil fuel industry can be quite an ambiguous term. Is a group of 200 fossil fuel extractive industries with the largest reserves of fossil fuels measured by gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent that will be emitted when that product is burned. We have 3 asks for the institution. Our first is a publishing or making accessible of all endowment investments right now. That is not known quite to any one person at Dalhousie, actually. The Vice President of Finance, while he was still with us, had said to us in a meeting that he himself has no idea what the university is invested in. We see that as sort of issue number 1. The second is a freezing of all investments in the fossil fuel industry, that same group of 200 companies that we've identified, immediately. And the third is divestment. The third is beginning to work toward divesting, exactly that, divesting the endowment fund from fossil fuel industry. The way that works is over a longer time frame. We can't do that immediately. It'll be sort of an asymptotic approach to zero over what we say is a time frame of 4 years. So the 2018 academic year is where we're shooting for sort of like a fossil-free graduating class. Emma can speak a bit to the context.
Okay, so our group has actually already had a meeting in person with Dr. Florazone, and we've had ongoing communication with him, as well as with members of the Board of Governors and the President's Advisory Council on Sustainability. And we want to make it clear that we think this is an ethical issue, and it doesn't make sense for Dalhousie to claim to be a sustainable university and then not follow through on all aspects of like where our investments are going, all aspects of school. Basically, we think it's unethical to be investing in fossil fuels because climate change is a real issue. It's been proven that a 2 degrees of rise in average global temperatures of 2 degrees Celsius would be catastrophic to the planet, and that in order to prevent that rise, 80% of the proven oil and gas reserves need to stay in the ground. So it doesn't make sense for us to be investing in those industries. I know that there'll probably be questions about the economic side of divestment. So I'd like to point out that studies have been done to show that this is a low economic risk, divesting from fossil fuel industries, and that's from the Sustainable Investment Institute. They did a report, and there have been other bodies that have done similar reports as well. This is why we are proposing a phasing out over 4 years, not immediately taking our money out all at the same time. So this idea of divesting from fossil fuels isn't just from us group right here. We're part of 300 plus colleges and universities all across North America, and other bodies, other municipalities and organizations have also signed on to this campaign. And currently San Francisco and Seattle have already divested their investments from fossil fuels.
Sure, that context is extremely important of being sort of a part of a much larger movement. The 7 or 8 universities that have been successful in divesting are all much smaller universities. So this truly would be precedent setting for Dalhousie to divest. We would be the first Canadian institution of higher learning, period, to divest from the fossil fuel industry. And we would be the largest by far to divest from the fossil fuel industry. By an order of magnitude. However, the sort of complexity in our $411 million endowment fund isn't unprecedented in itself. The Seattle and San Francisco that Emma had mentioned, the endowment fund, pension fund, and management fund that Seattle's working to divest now is over $4 billion. So this is sort of being done in general, but would be truly precedent setting on the university context. So we have sort of endorsements for our campaign from a number of faculty that we've published on our website, from a number of community leaders and alumni here at Dalhousie, and why this would be sort of particularly strong for the DSU to show support for is we're, as we've mentioned, been meeting with Dr. Florazone, and have this amicable working relationship with him. And we're looking to meet with him in December to begin those first 2 points of first freezing and also publishing the endowment fund. So support, official support at the DSU level would push that all the further. I believe that's all we have sort of prepared as a quick presentation. There are many of us here that can speak to quite any questions that you may have about divestment, about the context of DAO. We'd be so happy to do so. So again, thanks so much for your time. We understand this is a long meeting, so thanks again so much.
Perfect. So we have this down as a discussion item. I don't know if people would rather move into a moderated caucus or just have a question and answer period, because we have a lot of people. It's decision. What? That makes sense. Sorry. I imagine there are probably questions. So we just open up a question period. Does anyone want to be the runner of mine?
I will.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
I just had a question about how, sorry,
I'm totally kidding. Go ahead.
I just had a question about when you had this meeting with upper administration, how it was received and sort of what their feedback was about this divestment.
Hello again. Yeah, there were 4 of us at that time who had met with Dr. Florazone, and then with 4 members of the President's Advisory Committee on Sustainability, which included a number of VPs and the investment manager and the VP of Finance at that time, Ken Bird. How we were received was, again, pretty amicable. We understand this is a very difficult thing. The mechanism is difficult for an institution the size of Dalhousie to do. How we were received at that level wasn't, this is hard, go away. It was, this is difficult, give us more information. We want to do this, and we want to sort of, we want you to make it easy for us, not in so many words. So again, we've had this amicable working relationship with Dr. Florazone himself and his close circles on sort of decision-making on sustainability and investment policies since that time.
I can speak to that. Since that initial meeting we had with Florazone, he requested, and this group requested more information. Since then, we've put together a very, very in-depth information package that we have delivered to Dr. Florazone and the administration. They are in the process of going over it, and that will be, our next meeting will be in regards to steps to take once they've taken in that information. So it's very much in process, and the momentum is very much underway.
That was Dan and Jamie.
I have a point and a question. The point is pretty simple, but I received my meeting package for the Board of Governors meeting on the 26th just today, and the investment committee's report actually mentioned that they're seriously discussing ESG criteria, environmental, social, and corporate governance factors. They've had apparently 3 different presentations since the last board meeting, and that apparently one today as well. So I think it's worth knowing that the Dow Investment Committee is actually taking this seriously, so this is pretty timely. So the next one's a question. With things like endowment funds and pension funds, they have a fiduciary legal responsibility to provide a healthy rate of return for the investors. Because in this case, we, as students, benefit from the endowment fund. So it's not just a good idea to be having a good rate of return, they're legally obligated to. So that means maximizing rate of return, minimizing risk. So my question is, can somebody speak to whether or not it's possible to get a healthy rate of return while staying in the energy sector, because you need a diversified portfolio, but still staying away from fossil fuels? Because if that can be done, then divestment makes sense.
So with regards to that, I guess there's multiple stages of approaches to that. And one, you could set up, I guess, a mandatory clause within the mandate that says that you have to have a certain level of return. So what you could do is you could maybe explore putting a voluntary clause saying, if you wish to donate, to the endowment fund, and put it under, I don't know, let's say some sort of environmental clause, then they could do that and put a separate pot of money just for that. That could be a way to, I guess, get the ball rolling, because there are some, as stakeholders are, they're very conservative about where they want their money to go, and they want it to go to, probably something that's the most profitable. So I guess by doing that, it can, certainly start up the avenue, and it can be something that can be done hopefully easily because it is voluntary. And perhaps from there, we can go to other areas.
Yeah, with the regards to fossil fuel, we can stay in the energy sector, but it's really hard to actually be in the energy sector without being in fossil fuels. So as a part of divestment and working towards a zero in the fossil fuels, we'd probably end up getting out almost in total. In terms of risk and return, that divestment is risky is really a myth. You don't have places like Seattle and San Francisco divesting billions of dollars without it being a safe bet. There's studies done where divestment has been like, it changes risk by 0.03% in terms of return. So it's very easy to mandate divestment under a significantly, non-risky move. Yeah.
I was down to Emma.
I just kind of wanted to draw ties with the library issue, actually. This may seem like a bit of a stretch, but when we were talking earlier this year with DAS about cutting library fees and, cutting library money and also cutting library hours, I think this, investing in things that are kind of socially unethical and socially inappropriate is very similar. It's kind of tying the idea to the corporatization of the university and just using it as a money maker. And that kind of leads into the idea of the library. So I just wanted to bring that up with DAS folks and just other folks in general on council. And I also just wanted to say that as a sustainability student, I think it is extremely contradictory for council to support these investments and also for the university in general to support these investments. We are touted as a university that is a leader in sustainability, or at least we try to be, or it's it's advertised that we are, with the Mona Campbell building, all these things. And I think that if we continue to invest in the fossil fuel sector, that's just, it's creating a farce, it's creating a charade. And I think that if we're going to be a leader in sustainability, have the College of Sustainability, we need to get out of these investments. That's just my opinion. It's not really a question, it's just a comment. Just a strong agreement,
I believe that Aaron, where did he go? He's over here.
Go for it.
Oh, okay, in that case, it is Anthony next.
I just want to thank you guys for coming in and making this presentation. I just have a question that's sort of along the same lines as my colleague over here about alternatives. So obviously, divesting from fossil fuels it was a great idea, but we need some sort of proposed alternatives for the investment. And have you guys identified any for, how we could invest otherwise?
So this is where it gets really fun and interesting, is that the alternatives to, so I guess it's called reinvesting, is where it drives true innovation in terms of where this is kind of like a frontier almost. The amount of options that are becoming available due to other people investing is like a plethora. It's actually more diverse than the status quo. There's options of local investment, community investment, C-diff investment, confid investment. This is all Dallas specific. There's exchange traded funds, so you put money in very specific places, in very specific locations, in very specific sectors. You can go on and on and on. There's actually close to, the package we give Florizone has close to 100 pages of alternatives to fossil fuel investment. So yeah, it's just a matter of us compiling that in a pretty understandable and accessible format. I mean, the mechanics of investment can be pretty high level, and it takes almost a degree to understand the actual, put money here, take money out here, and all that kind of stuff, which is something we're working on, but we know that they're there and they're very accessible to us.
I'll just add that with traditional energy industries like oil and gas performing worse in stocks as of late and mounting opposition to pipelines and stuff like that, we actually see declining return on investment for these industries, which renewables can greatly exceed.
Just briefly, as far as what DAO can do within the institution itself, not only is this an opportunity for innovation at the administrative level, but also this is something that we've discussed just as ideas, as something to be able to bring into the classrooms and provide as sort of a problem for the school to solve within itself, and really start that inner growth from there.
Sorry, we have a speaker.
Mine was really just like a simple request. I was just going to ask if it would be possible to have that info package like sent to council, just so we can kind of review it.
You just want my email. So we have Allison next.
I just want to clarify a few things. I'm in the middle of a couple design projects. My brain's a bit fuzzy right now. So just to clarify, you guys are you're not trying to like make an ethical change in the way we're putting investments. You're more just hoping that we'll divest from the fossil fuels and hopefully that'll set a precedent for more changes. Is that what's going on? Okay, in that case, why the big focus on just fossil fuels? Do you just feel like that's a better beast to tackle instead of like all of the unethical things you might think that might go along with sustainability, more just because other schools have already set a precedent? There's more motivation going for it. Is that why it's a big push on fossil fuels right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There are tons of other unethical things that we could be divesting from right now, but we're starting with fossil fuels because, one, you have to start somewhere, and two, there is this international campaign going on in Canada, the United States, and across Europe to have universities and colleges and other bodies like towns and churches divest from fossil fuels too. So we're sort of riding that wave of momentum, hoping that in the future it will lead to other steps discussing other issues of ethical investment. But step one, fossil fuels.
I'll also add that with something like climate change, every country in the world has signed on to agreements saying that we need to limit warming within 2 degrees. And what that looks like is about 350 parts per million of carbon in the atmosphere. And we're already way above that. We're about 400. So we need action on this before we have catastrophic effects of climate change hitting us everywhere around the world. So it's, in many sense, a matter of survival.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say thanks for coming in as well. I know that waiting this long for this topic to come up in the discussion might have been a little bit boring, so we appreciate you coming. And obviously the show of numbers is really heartening as well. As little I know about the issue, I'll just say that from what I've heard and read, I'm excited about it, and I'm really happy you guys are working on this on our behalf, so thanks very much.
I'm so sorry, Danny.
Who is this?
Rita Caitlin.
Just to echo what Pat just said, I'm really excited that this has come up, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that as Dalhousie University that we're looking into setting a precedent for other universities to follow ethical investment. I think fossil fuels is definitely the great place to start. Climate change is a really hot topic and something that a lot of people can relate to and understand. So I think that this is absolutely great, and it couldn't be better timing with things going on with the Board of Governors. So everything.
There's one down next. JGD? Next, you did.
I did. I don't know if I'm next.
Who's on the speakers list, Ali?
Sorry, we've got Hema next.
Ema.
Ali, am I on the speaker?
No, but you are now.
So I guess my question is just out of curiosity. So you guys mentioned before that a couple of the faculty are on board. I was wondering if any of the faculty in engineering specifically, because probably hurt them in some sort of way with like co-op students going to work in the fossil fuel industry or any of that. So how do like the engineering faculty feel about this?
we've only been gathering endorsements for 2 weeks, but we have 2 engineering professors who are on board. We have Dr. Wayne Roscoe, who's an adjunct professor, and Dr. Suma Loy hasn't technically signed her endorsement, but we've been talking with her, and we have her support as well. Willow and I are both engineering students, as a member of our crew are. And this sort of just in terms of like the context of engineers as problem solvers, this is a huge way in which we can tackle that directly. The continuation of supporting and working for the fossil fuel industry is perpetuating that, not solving the problem. So, yeah. Is that good?
Awesome. I'd like to add something to that, actually. About a month or 2 ago now, during the 100 Days open sessions, we were a few of us were on the engineering campus as well to talk about this issue, and in which a lot of I believe it was the dean of engineering as well as many other professors were really open and receptive to the idea as well as we were talking about it.
Yeah, I just want to speak to another point. It's at the very first, therefore, as something that's actually very near and dear to me, because it's about transparency around the endowment funds and its investments. Because how it works now is the money's lumped and sent off to a handful of different investment managers who then invest that for Dalhousie. So we don't actually know where our money is invested as a university. They don't provide these annual reports or biannual reports on where the money actually goes. So just having that for a transparency perspective is also really valuable. So I'm really, really in support of that. And I'm pushing for it at the board level.
Over to Becca. And then just before we get into that, can I just have everybody else who would like to talk, can you just raise your hands now, and then we'll do that, and then try to exhaust that speakers list? Is that a, I would like to talk, or is that a good job, you're such a good chair? Okay. Anybody else? I'll do it again after these 2 talks. But just, yeah, cool.